Thank you for viewing the 2017 program update for the Residential HVAC Incentive Program through the MECA Energy Optimization Program. In this presentation, you'll learn a little bit more about MECA as an organization, what the Energy Optimization Program is, the 2017 incentives for the Residential HVAC Program, how and why to participate, how to complete and submit our applications, the AHRI database, and available resources. MECA is the Michigan Electric Cooperative Association. They're a nonprofit association that provides services to Michigan-based rural electric cooperatives. MECA also administers the energy optimization programs for the MECA EO Collaborative members. The EO Collaborative consists of 13 Michigan utilities, 7 cooperative utilities whose ratepayers are members, and 6 municipalities whose ratepayers are customers. I do want to point out that in the EO Collaborative, you do not have to be an electric cooperative. You can be a municipality. However, not all of the electric cooperatives in Michigan participate in the EO Collaborative. There are, again, 13 utilities as part of the collaborative, and you can see that each utility has their service area colored in differently from the other utilities, so you can get a generalization of their service areas on the map shown. The rural electric cooperatives are as follows: Alger Delta in Central Upper Peninsula, Cloverland Electric in the Eastern Upper Peninsula, Great Lakes Energy in Western Michigan and Northwestern Lower Michigan. We have Homeworks Tri-County Electric in Central Michigan around the Lansing area. We have Midwest Energy in Lower Michigan on the borders of Ohio and Indiana. And then we have Ontonagon County REA in the Western Upper Peninsula and Presque Isle Electric and Gas in the northeastern corner of Lower Michigan. Our participating municipal electric utilities are the City of Escanaba Electric Department, Marquette Board of Light and Power, Newberry Water and Light Board, the City of Stevenson, Daggett Electric, and the City of South Haven. I do want to point out that Daggett Electric is not part of the residential HVAC program. However, they do participate in our other portfolio programs. Energy optimization is a program that has been funded through a surcharge on the electric bill to help homeowners, businesses, and farms make energy efficient improvements to save electricity. It was mandated by the state of Michigan through Public Act 295 of 2008, known as the Clean, Renewable, and Efficient Energy Act. The programs in the energy optimization portfolio are the residential high efficiency heating and cooling, which we will be going over today, the commercial and industrial services program, farm services, Energy Star products, and appliance recycling. So what's new for the residential HVAC program in 2017? Well, eligibility requirements have been changed for ground source heat pumps, and ground source heat pumps are now eligible for incentives when being installed in new construction homes, when replacing non-electric heating fuel sources, and if equipped with an ECM motor, can qualify for combo or smart bonuses. We have a new tier for central ACs and air source heat pumps. The efficiency has been reduced to a minimum of 15 SEER, and an incentive has been added at $150 for any ACs at 15 SEER or greater. We also have a variable speed heating water circulation pump incentive. This is now a $100 incentive per pump, and this is for ECM circulator pumps that are being used in hydronic and radiant heating applications. Also, if you were installing a variable speed loop pump for our ground source system, that would also qualify under the variable speed water heating circulation pump incentive. The 2017 residential incentives are as follows. We have the standard programmable thermostat that needs to control an HVAC system with central air conditioning or a form of electric heat, and that incentive is $20. We have Wi-Fi enabled smart occupancy sensing thermostats, again needing to control an HVAC system with air conditioning or electric heat, and it must feature Wi-Fi connectivity or occupancy sensing capability. The occupancy sensing capability is what makes the thermostat considered smart, and that would use either geofencing or GPS. Again, that's a $100 incentive for that thermostat. We have the ECM blower motor, which can be installed in an existing furnace without an ECM, and new furnaces with ECM blower motors, and ground source systems equipped with an ECM, and with air handlers equipped with an ECM. That would be a $200 incentive. For the air conditioning systems and heat pumps, that would include central air conditioners, standard air source heat pumps, and mini and multi-split air source heat pumps. Incentives start at $150 for a 15-SEER system. 16-SEER systems would be provided with a $250 incentive. 17 to 18.9 SEER systems would qualify for a $350 incentive, and 19 SEER or greater would qualify for a $500 incentive. Ground source heat pumps, again replacing electric heat pumps, or heating systems with other fuel types, do receive incentives. It is a $350 incentive for a 17 to 18.9-year system, and for 19-year or greater systems, there is a $500 incentive. For the HVAC combo bonus, this is available when you're installing an ECM motor and a qualifying cooling measure, which could be air conditioning or a source heat pump. That is a $100 incentive. For the smart combo bonus, that would be if you are doing a system equipped with an ECM motor and a qualifying cooling measure and a smart or Wi-Fi thermostat. That bonus would be $150. Please note that for the bonuses, all equipment must qualify to receive the incentive, and you can only receive one bonus per job, so it would either be the HVAC combo bonus or the smart combo bonus. You're generally not able to get two of those. Then we have the central AC and heat pump tune-up. That is a $50 incentive for your standard AC tune-up. However, this is not eligible for new installations. Continuing on, we have the newer measure, the variable speed heating water circulation pump. That incentive is $100, and the requirements are that it is a variable speed ECM type pump. It has integrated speed control, meaning it automatically adjusts flow output to changing demand, and this should be utilized for hydronic systems only. We also have a heat pump water heater incentive of $200. This is when replacing an existing electric water heater, and the heat pump water heater has an energy factor of 2.0 or greater. Ground source heat pumps with de-superheaters or hot water generation capabilities that are hooked up and active can also receive this heat pump water heater incentive. The electric water heater incentive is available at $50 for water heaters with an energy factor of 0.93 or greater. We'll also supply a water savings kit to customers purchasing a new electric water heater, which includes items such as pipe wrap, low flow shower heads, and kitchen and bathroom aerators. We also have the Energy Star pool pump. That's for pool pumps with automatic speed controls that would receive a $250 incentive. And then we also have a pipe wrap installation incentive of 80 cents per foot up to an $8 maximum. You do need to be installing pipe wrap with a minimum of an R3, and this would be on the piping feeding off of the electric water heater. This would also qualify for installations on ground source heat pumps with hot water generation capability. If you're insulating a line between the ground source heat pump and a storage tank, that would also qualify for the insulation incentive. So going into some details about our residential incentives on ground source heat pumps, I want to point out that there are multiple incentives available for a ground source system. If it's equipped with an ECM motor, there is a $200 incentive just for the ECM motor. Then if the EAR rating for the ground source heat pump is 17 to 18.9 EAR, it would be a $350. If it was greater than that at 19 EAR or higher, you would receive a $500 incentive. Because your ground source heat pump is equipped with an ECM motor and you've achieved the EAR rating of 17 or greater, that would qualify for the HVAC combo bonus of $100. However, if you have a Wi-Fi thermostat paired with that ground source system, that would be a $150 bonus instead of $100. If the hot water generation capabilities of the heat pump are hooked up and active, that's an additional $200 incentive, making your maximum possible incentive for a ground source heat pump with an EAR rating of 19, equipped with an ECM motor, with a smart thermostat as the control, and the hot water generation hooked up, your maximum possible incentive is $1,150. Going into some detail on the heat pump water heaters, again, ground source heat pumps with a de-superheater or hot water generation components do qualify for the additional $200 heat pump water heater incentive so long as that hot water generation is hooked up and active. It is best to list the connection of the water heater to the ground source heat pump and storage tank on the invoice. You do need to be replacing an electric water heater, and again, those pipes between the ground source heat pump and the storage tank qualify for the installation incentive of 80 cents per foot as long as the pipe wrap is listed on the invoice or a receipt is provided for the purchase of the pipe wrap. Some details on the central AC and heat pump tune-up incentive. Again, that's $50 incentive. You need to perform the following. You should clean and inspect the outdoor coil, inspect the indoor coil if accessible, clean or replace the standard air filter, check your amps and voltage, inspect and lubricate the blower, clean, inspect, and lubricate the motors, check the thermostat operation, confirm proper airflow, check the condensate drain, clean debris from around the condenser, and perform a visual inspection of the entire AC system. I do want to point out that with our incentive, you are not required to perform any additional measurements or diagnostic readings. We just need you to perform your standard tune-up. Also, tune-ups as part of service plans do qualify for this incentive. However, you do need to provide an invoice with the cost of the service plan, so that way we can verify that the customer has paid over $50 for their tune-up, and then we will be able to provide the incentive. Your enrollment will include a company listing on the Energy Optimization website under the Find a Trade Ally. You'll have the ability to instantly incentivize your projects. You'll receive periodic program updates. You'll have a dedicated account representative, that's myself, Diana Kako, to help you with any application or efficiency-related questions. You'll have access to the energy efficiency marketing material with current incentives. You are eligible for participation in the Rewards and Recognition Program, and you could be chosen as a nominee for the Governor's Energy Excellence Awards for Best Residential Project or for Contractor of the Year. The available marketing collateral is made up of 3 different documents. We have a Wi-Fi and smart thermostat fact sheet that helps explain the difference between non-programmable, standard programmable, and Wi-Fi or smart thermostats. We have a Finding the Right Furnace brochure that helps customers understand the benefits of choosing a furnace with an ECM motor. And then we have our 2017 Residential HVAC Incentive Guide, which lists all incentives for the program. Again, we do have some benefits to our trade allies. That would be the Contractor Rewards Program. We provide a $100 contractor incentive for the installation of new furnaces with ECM motors, and that is only available to enrolled trade allies. We also have a new trade ally recognition program that will be started this year, and we want you to know that we value your contribution, as it does take time to submit the applications and help customers understand the benefits of higher efficiency equipment. We're going to recognize contractors on a regional basis that will be divided into three distinct regions. We'll have the Upper Peninsula, we'll have Northern Michigan, and we'll have Lower Michigan. And contractors are going to be awarded prizes for the greatest number of submissions and the largest kilowatt-hour energy savings. You can enroll in the Trade Ally program by going to our website, www.michigan-energy.org. You'd want to select Trade Allies from the top of our page and select the Trade Ally enrollment form under Get Started Today. You would send a completed Trade Ally enrollment form along with a W-9 for the payee of contractor rewards to tradeally@wecusa.org. You can participate in the program by downloading our incentive application found again at michigan-energy.org. You would select the appropriate utility from the drop-down menu, then select Efficient HVAC and complete the incentive application. You can return incentive applications by mail to MECA EO Programs at 431 Charmony Drive in Madison, Wisconsin, by fax to 608-646-7682, or by email to info@michigan-energy.org. Our applications are processed on a first-come, first-served basis. So keep in mind that if you submit your application to us on, say, January 30th, we may not get to that for about a week or so. So if there is any missing information or questions about the application, please note you will not find that out until we start to fulfill the application. If you would like an immediate review of your application, should it have been a little while since your last submission, you're welcome to email that completed application to me, Diana Cacco, at dcacco@weccusa.org, or you may fax that application to me at 608-237-2214. Again, I'm happy to have you submit applications to me if you'd like them reviewed immediately to ensure that you've completed them properly. So again, with participation, there are a few things you can do to help your application be processed faster. The best thing to do is print clearly or type the required information on our application using the fillable application, again, found online. Should there be any questions about who the account holder is, you can include both names on the application. And for the City of South Haven and for Ontonagon REA, please include a copy of the utility bill with the submitted application. This will help us resolve any name discrepancy issues very quickly. If you're instantly incentivizing or discounting a project, you need to show the incentive deduction on your invoice. Also on your invoice, you'll need to include, for any project, the date of install or purchase, the installation address, the manufacturer, the model and serial numbers of all equipment installed, For any split systems, make sure you include both the indoor and outdoor model and serial number. So for central ACs, we want to see that coil and condenser model and serial number. And if you're applying for an incentive on thermostats or pipe rep, please make sure that thermostat or pipe rep is also listed on the invoice, or a customer's proof of purchase is provided if for some reason they purchase that thermostat or pipe wrap on their own. Completing the application is pretty easy. However, there are a few different sections, so I've broken them out. Section 1 is member information, so we'd like to see the customer or member complete that. Section 2 is the contractor information. You should have this information completed before providing the incentive application to the customer. Section 3 is the incentive payment information. In most cases, we're paying the incentive to the member. And if we are providing the incentive to the contractor, you'll need to complete the incentive reassignment section and provide a W-9 for the payee. And then section 4 is the customer or member's signature, so that should be completed by them. And then pages 3 through 5 are the eligible measures. I would prefer that you, the contractor, complete this section because you need to provide the model and serial numbers for all equipment that would be eligible for incentive. Generally, when homeowners complete the application, we do tend to get a lot of coil model and serial numbers in place of furnace model and serial numbers, as that is what most customers see right away when they look around their furnace. So if at a minimum you could provide your customers with the model and serial numbers of the equipment installed, that would be greatly appreciated. It would make it a little bit easier for them to complete the application if you're not already filling this out. So here you can see a copy of our sample application for the 2017 program year. Page 1 has not changed. That's still our direction sheet. Pages 2 through 5 are what will need to be returned to us. Starting on page 2, we have the member information. We have added some new fields, just wanting to know if it's an existing home or new construction, the field type for the heating system, and if the home has central AC. The contractor information here is the same as before, except for the addition of the HVAC licensee name. Just makes it a little bit easier for us to verify your license. We have the incentive payment information and the signature section on page 2. On page 3, that's where we begin our eligible measures. Page 4, again, we have our eligible measures, and I want to point out here that on page 4, this is where you apply for the ground source heat pump incentive. This is for the savings associated with the ground source heat pump only. So that would be the efficiency of 17 to 18.9 ER or 19 or greater. If that ground source heat pump is equipped with an ECM motor, you need to complete the ECM motor section on page 3. And what you would do is provide us with a model and serial number of the ground source heat pump in the ECM motor section on page 3. We can verify the ECM motor using that model and serial number. Again, we have page 5 with our additional measures such as the variable speed heating water circulation pump, the heat pump water heater, the electric water heater, the Energy Star pool pump, and the pipe wrap insulation. And page 6 is our terms and conditions. Again, with your application, all we need is pages 2 through 5 returned and a copy of the invoice. Here you can see the sample application in more detail. On page 2, the items that have changed are what is the primary fuel for space heating, and if the home is an existing home or new construction. I do want to point out that if you were to check that the home does not have central AC and that gas, propane, oil, or wood are the fuel for space heating, we would not be able to provide incentives for a programmable thermostat or for a smart or Wi-Fi thermostat, because with no central AC or electricity used for space heating, there isn't any savings that can be claimed from the electric utility on that thermostat measure, because it's just controlling heating, and that is not fueled by electricity. Again, the contractor information, just asking simply for the company name and a contact name, as well as a phone number, and again, the license number and licensee name. The incentive payment information, for the most part, you'll just check member and skip down to section 4 while they'll provide their signature. However, if it is being reassigned to a landlord or to the contractor, you need to provide the payee name and provide the mailing address if it is different than what's on the W-9. The W-9 will need to be provided for the payee as well. And again, the signature section, this should always be the account holder here, or a representative of the account holder. Moving on to page 3, where our available measures begin, we have the standard programmable thermostat. I want to point out that you can provide either a model name or a model number for us. That's not a problem. Both of these are pretty easy to verify. When it comes to the Wi-Fi enabled thermostat, you can do the same thing. You can provide a model name or a model number. I would like to point out though that when it comes to the Wi-Fi enabled thermostat, if it is manufactured by Honeywell, I would prefer the model number, as the model names can be a little confusing, as they have a Vision Pro 8000, which is considered Wi-Fi enabled, but they also have a Pro 8000, which is just a standard programmable. So providing the model number would be more helpful to us here. Again, your thermostats need to be controlling electric heat or central AC to qualify, and if for some reason multiple thermostat incentives are needed because you've installed multiple systems, such as 2 air conditioners, one for the main floor, one for the second floor, or the home is larger and has 2 furnaces, you can contact me directly for an approval letter and we can issue multiple thermostat incentives. Moving on to the furnace with ECM blower. Again, if you are installing a new ground source system, a air handler, or new furnace with an ECM motor, please just provide us with the manufacturer, model, and serial number of that new unit, and we will be able to verify the ECM motor. If you're doing an aftermarket ECM motor installation, you would provide us with the manufacturer, model, and serial number of that replacement motor. For central AC and central air source heat pumps, we do want you to provide the SEER rating as listed on an AHRI certificate, the manufacturer, the model of the indoor and outdoor unit, along with the serial number of the indoor and outdoor unit, and an AHRI reference number. This is the reference number for the certificate that shows the SEER rating. For ground source heat pumps, again, you'll want to make sure that if it is equipped with an ECM motor, that you've completed the ECM section on page 3. We also want you to be sure you check if it's an open or a closed loop system, as that does affect the efficiency rating. And we also want to know if it's a water to air or a water to water system. Also important to know is if a system is equipped with a desuperheater, or if it has the hot water generation components installed. If so, you can check yes here. But if that is actively providing the domestic hot water, you need to complete the heat pump water heater incentives section on page 5. Also provide us with the fuel type that or the heating system that the ground source system is replacing, along with the manufacturer, model, and serial number, and AHRI reference number for that ground source heat pump. Then you have the bonuses. Again, to qualify for a bonus, both the ECM motor and air conditioner or heat pump must qualify. Again, ground source heat pumps over 17 ER qualify for the combo bonus if they're equipped with the ECM motor, and only one bonus is allowed per application. The last measure on page 4 is our central AC tune-up, again eligible for air conditioners and air source heat pumps. We simply need you to provide the manufacturer of the outdoor unit, the model number if legible, and an estimate of the cooling tons, and that will allow your customer to receive a $50 incentive on that tune-up. Again, if you're submitting for a tune-up, please be sure to provide an invoice showing the AC tune-up, and if that AC tune-up was prepaid under a service plan, please provide the cost of the service plan and the number of services included in that service plan. Page 5 has our additional measures such as the variable speed circulation pump, the water heaters, Energy Star pool pump, and pipe wrap. For the most part, we'll want you to provide the manufacturer and model number. However, when it comes to the heat pump water heater and the circulation pump, we'll also like the serial numbers for those items. And don't forget, at the very bottom, we have the total incentive for pages 2 through 5. In addition to the completed application, you will need to provide us with supporting documentation. That supporting documentation should be in the form of an invoice. That invoice needs to include it needs to be complete and legible, and include the install date, make, model, and serial number for all equipment, as well as the address of the install and the cost. We'll also need the AHRI certificate or reference number with the model numbers on the certificate matching the model numbers that are on the invoice. Your additional documentation needed is IRS Form W-9 for the payee of any reassigned incentives to the landlord or contractor. You can find the W-9 form online. Here I have 2 sample invoices for a standard heating and cooling installation of a furnace with ECM and central air conditioner. We'd like to see the line items listed out, the AC and that cost, as well as the furnace with ECM and the cost for the furnace. Included on the invoice should be some details such as the manufacturer, model, and serial number of the furnace, the manufacturer, model, and serial number of the condensing unit, and the manufacturer, model, and serial number of the coil. A Wi-Fi thermostat was also installed, so we have the thermostat listed as well as its model and serial number. For a ground source system, we'd like a little bit more detail on that invoice. We'd like a note as to, is it closed or open loop? Is it a split system, or is it an all-in-one? Then we'll need the heat pump manufacturer, model, and serial number. Also, the control for that heat pump is a water furnace thermostat, and the model number has been provided. Also, this with hot water generation capability. So they have a water furnace water heater. This is their Geo 80 storage tank. So we have the model name and the serial number listed. As well, they insulated the line between the ground source system and the storage tank. So they've listed the 10 feet of pipe wrap that was and where it was installed. And we also have a total cost down here. They've made a payment of $17,000. That's more than the incentive to be issued. So we can go ahead and issue that incentive even though they're still making their payments. Missing information requests are issued when additional information is needed, and you can avoid those requests by ensuring that your invoice has the date of install, the manufacturer, model, and serial numbers for equipment installed, the price, and the installation address. Again, for AC and heat pumps or split systems, make sure you provide the indoor and outdoor model and serial numbers. And for applications with thermostats and pipe wrap, please ensure that the pipe wrap or thermostat are listed on the invoice. If they were purchased by the homeowner separately, please include a proof of purchase, such as a receipt provided by the homeowner with those items. For ground source heat pumps, ensure that on the application you've provided the loop type, system type, and fuel source being replaced. Ensure that you've provided an AHRI certificate or a valid reference number where the model numbers on the certificate match the model numbers on the invoice. Also, for any incentive reassignments, make sure you're providing a payee W-9. When the payee is the landlord or contractor, be sure that any instant discounts have been shown on the invoice, and make sure that when the landlord is the payee that you include him on the invoice as well as the installation address. Again, applications can be submitted by mail to MECA EO programs, by fax to 608-646-7682, or by email to info@michigan-energy.org. Or again, you may submit applications directly to me for immediate review if you have any concerns. In the 2016 program year, we did begin our field verification process. We select 5% of all projects submitted for verification, and this is a requirement of all incentive programs, not just the residential HVAC program. The request is issued after we've provided the incentive, and we began this process in August of 2016. And so far, our field verifications have only returned positive results. We've actually provided additional incentives for programmable and smart thermostats, for central ACs and heat pumps, and for ECM motors. The AHRI certificate is quite important to our program. AHRI is a third-party verification of equipment efficiencies, and this is utilized by incentive programs across the country. And we use AHRI certificates to verify SEER ratings for central AC units, heat pumps, and mini splits, EAR ratings for ground source heat pumps. Some ECM motors and new furnaces are listed on the AHRI certificates. Just keep in mind that ECM motors and heat pumps are commonly verified using the product model number, and we use AHRI certificates to verify the energy factors for water heaters and heat pump water heaters. You can find AHRI certificates at the AHRIdirectory.org. And you can speak to your equipment distributor to provide a reference number or a copy of the AHRI certificate if you have any difficulty finding it. Some search tips for using the AHRI directory. Less information is more results when it comes to the directory. When it comes to an AC system, there is generally a variable in the coil or furnace model number, and variables are often noted as an asterisk or a series of possible model number combinations in parentheses. For AC searches, I always recommend that you search by the condenser model number first. Generally, if there are any variables in the condenser model number, it would be found towards the end. Again, the coil and condenser model numbers on the certificate do need to match what is installed. If the furnace is listed on the AHRI certificate, the furnace does need to be installed at the same time as the AC and included on the application, or the furnace needs to, the ECM motor in the furnace should have been previously incentivized, and if we have a record of that ECM motor application, nothing further needs to be provided. However, if for some reason we did not incentivize that ECM motor, you'll need to provide proof of purchase that the furnace listed on the AHRI certificate was installed. That could be the original installation invoice, or it could be the model and serial number of the existing furnace included in your description on the new invoice for the AC. If you have any questions about this, you're always welcome to contact me directly for further information. If your furnace is listed on the submitted AHRI certificate, but we don't have any documentation to verify that that furnace was installed, we will look for and use an AHRI certificate where the SEER rating does not include the furnace. If you need assistance finding a certificate, please don't hesitate to contact your trade ally representative, myself, Diana Kako, and I would like to point out that generally the Unico high velocity duct systems do not qualify for incentive as their C rating is oftentimes lower than 14. And if you are installing Unico systems, I suggest you have an AHRI certificate before discussing any possible incentives for that system. Again, the AHRI directory is www.ahridirectory.org, where you can select both residential and commercial equipment. For the most part, for this program, all of the information you should need should be found under one of the residential categories. I have an example of a AHRI lookup for a central AC system. The first thing I do is enter the model number for the outdoor unit only. And here is the information that we're looking up. We're looking for a Bryant furnace with a Bryant condenser and a Bryant coil. So again, we're going to start with that condenser model number. We've entered that under the outdoor unit model number. And that does return a number of results. We've got, first of all of the results returned do match what we've placed in the outdoor model number field. And now we can see that there are variables in several locations of the coil model number and the furnace model number. So we just go ahead and hit modify, and that takes us back to our initial AC search. And now what we've done is we've added the furnace model number with the variables in parentheses as we saw in that previous picture. And we've added the variable in the coil model number field as well. By doing that, we only return 3 total results. By looking at this, I opt to choose the first system that shows up, and that's because the model number most closely matches of the outdoor unit what we have listed as the model number for the condenser on the invoice. And so I can move all the way over to the right and see that the SEER rating is 17. So that means the system does qualify for an incentive of $350. And right here we have the AHRI certified reference number. This is all that's needed. However, if you want to double click on any one of the columns, you will be taken to the actual certificate. Now on the certificate, we're checking the reference number, the outdoor unit model number, the indoor unit model number, and the furnace model number against your invoice to ensure that these match, and the SEER rating. Furnace lookups, when it comes to the AHRI directory, are much simpler. You can actually enter the furnace model number in whole without any variables. And then you'll hit search, and that will take you to the results. Here I've chosen to go with the upflow or horizontal configuration, as the model number provided on the invoice did not include this additional D. So what we look for when it comes to a furnace is simply, is there a yes in the ECM motor column? And you don't need to provide anything to us for that. However, if you wanted to look at the certificate, what we look for is the model number of the furnace matching what is on the invoice, and that we either have the statement E, electrically efficient furnace, or footnote 79, the furnace is equipped with an electronically commutated motor. Some available resources are, again, the Energy Optimization Program website, michigan-energy.org. We have our Trade Ally specific website, michigan-energy.org/Trade Allies Overview. Again, your AHRI certificates or reference numbers can be found at ahridirectory.org. And should you have any questions about other incentive programs in the state of Michigan or available tax incentives, you can go to programs.desireusa.org. For future questions, you may contact me on my cell at 734-957-2850. You may send applications for review by fax to 608-237-2214 or by email to dcaco@weccusa.org. I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you so much and have a great day.